Well, it is Thursday here, and I've got a special guest, as you can see, Sarah Avampato, joining me for this first segment of Goals Thursday, part of Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Anaheim Ducks. Let's Locked On Goals, Locked On Goals Thursday, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jason J.D. Hernandez, covering hockey for over a decade. A reminder, this podcast is free and available across all platforms. Twitter's at StimpyJD. And right over there is Sarah Avampato at Right Said Sarah. How's it going, Sarah?
It's Gulls Thursday.
It is Goals Thursday. So you're probably wondering why I'm having you join for a segment.
Yes.
We're just gonna have a little fun here because, as you know, the Gulls have been terrible all season.
Yeah.
They've been bad until recently, and this is why I'm having you on, because you are freaking brilliant. So you're not gonna see this on this screen, but I'm just gonna show it right now. So you did a bingo card recently for the Calder Farmstead, which makes you look like a brilliant genius. I can't believe you put this on your bingo card. So the Calder Farmstead is an awesome AHL podcast, and Sarah had a bingo card, and the top left square, the San Diego Gulls have a winning streak of 4+ games. Guess what they just did?
Did they win another game?
They won 4 games in a row. First, why did you put that as your bingo square, first off? Did you actually believe they would do it?
No, I thought it would be funny. Most of my bingo squares. So for anyone who didn't listen to that episode of the Calder Farmstead, because why would you? At one point early in the year, my co-host Sean O'Brien and I put together bingo cards of just like stuff that we thought might happen, because we both kind of found ourselves saying like, oh wow, I sure didn't have blah on my bingo card for this season, and so we decided to just make our own bingo cards. But if you know me, you know that like mine were like 40% serious, 60% can't think of a better word that isn't going to need me to be bleeped out on. Just having fun. But I thought it would be funny, and hey, good job, Gulls. You got me a bingo square.
Do you know how brilliant you look right now? That was...
You're welcome.
So to all the Gulls fans, this is why you have a 4-game winning streak right now. And there's really one reason why they have this 4-game winning streak. I don't know if you've seen any of Gage Alexander, but wow. He might be the next coming of Lukáš Dostal. I know that's big words. You're looking at me funny. Is that kind of a lot for me to say right now?
I mean, we all know that goaltenders are like wizardry and magic. So I wouldn't put all my chickens in one basket or whatever. But I mean, any positive anything you can get, I think, is great. But we've all seen goalies be really, really good for like a stretch of games, and then who knows? But the fact that he's doing really well, he just came out of what, college?
No, Winnipeg.
Where did he come from? Okay,
Winnipeg Ice.
Oh wow, so he's like a child.
Yes, he literally is a child.
So like, I mean, so the fact that he's doing so well, he's probably what, like 20, 21 maybe.
He's 20.
Like, yeah. In his first go round at the AHL, which from goaltenders who I've talked to who have made the jump, particularly the Winnipeg Ice is in the WHL, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've talked to other goaltenders who have come out of the WHL, made the jump to the AHL, and they're like, yeah, this is hard. And I mean, anyone from any league is going to tell you that, whether it's Canada, major juniors, NCAA, whatever. They all talk about how different the game is at this level. So the fact that he's doing it at 20 years old, behind a bad team,
Mm-hmm.
I think is important and meaningful. And hopefully for your guys' sake, he keeps it up. And I guess, it's nice to have something fun to root for going down the stretch. Games still happen no matter how far out of the playoffs you are.
I mean, because of this winning streak, they're now up to a 0.1% chance to make the playoffs. Oh my
Hey,
god.
hey. So if if the Barracuda get abducted by aliens or something, um,
I mean, it was just
and Henderson also gets abducted by aliens, and Bakersfield explodes.
well, I don't know if you saw, but Ivan Prosvetov, he's going to be up with the Coyotes for the rest of the season, so they could catch Tucson as well.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
they're struggling.
dream big, dream big.
But assuming that the Gulls don't make the playoffs this season, this can only be a good sign for the Ducks franchise, but mainly the Gulls for next season, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no matter what, you need a goalie at the AHL level. If the assumption is that Dostal's going to be in the NHL next year,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to need someone, and he at least is showing to be capable of that. I think they'll probably still go find, a veteran guy, who can kind of be that number three. But hey,
It, I mean,
unless
it's
they
interesting.
trust what's his face. Did they trust what's his face? The other guy, Eric
Oh,
Snack.
Erickson Neck? No, absolutely
Right.
not.
So
And
they're still gonna go find a Anthony Stolarz 2.0 kind of guy who can be, your number one A, one B kind of guy, but also get called up to the NHL. Like Gage, what's his face, isn't gonna get called up to the NHL.
I mean, he's only 20 years old. He's still
Right. Right. So
super
like
young.
they need a plan, but if he works, like that's great.
There's something that can be said about larger goalies. Gage Alexander, 6'6",
Oh wow,
very
that's big.
big but very long frame. He's got almost a 7-foot wingspan. So
That's
I'll just
huge.
ask you this
Yeah.
generally: what are the likelihood that a young goalie with that big a frame, with that big a wingspan, like what are some things to watch out for with a goalie that large and that young?
I mean, I feel like the thing is always, especially, and I think this is true for any position, not just goaltender, but like when you get real tall real fast, they spend a lot of time kind of looking like baby deer that don't know how their limbs work. So, goaltending is a position, obviously, like I think it's just making sure that like the brain and the body are all syncing together. Um, and being big, like he has to be able to use that size to his advantage. So if he's a big guy but he's making himself small, like what's the point? So how is he using his frame to cover the net? Like what space is he taking away?
Mm-hmm.
um does he have like speed issues because he is so much bigger? Like what's it look like when he goes post to post? Is it harder because he doesn't have the coordination? Like, I haven't watched him at all, so I don't know. But like, I think that there's a lot, especially that old or that young, I guess. There's a lot of like, oh wow, that's what my legs do, kind of stuff. I feel like you see it in skaters sometimes, where you're just like, I know how to do this, but you look like you've never skated before.
The weird thing is, post to post, he's fine, and he doesn't have as many goalie adventures yet.
Mm,
Um, the thing that's a little concerning is because he has that long reach. The only
mm-hmm.
nitpick I have so far is that 7 hole.
Yeah,
Is because you have that long limb
yeah,
between your shoulder and
yeah,
your elbow, you're more vulnerable to those
yeah,
7 hole goals, as it
yeah.
were. So that's a little tough. But I think there's something else I did actually want to ask you, just because
Uh oh,
I kind of want like your opinion on this.
uh
Do you
oh.
think we're starting to see more of a trend towards the bigger goalies? Because we're not seeing as many 5'10", 5'11" goalies like we used to.
I
But
mean, I
that's
think that's been
also
the trend for a while. I think that seeing even like a sub 6 foot goaltender, like everyone makes a big deal out of like Yusei Saros in Nashville, who is like probably one of the smaller goaltenders. But I think that trend has been going that way, particularly in the NHL for a while, of, you know, these 6'3", 6'4". Like Jonathan Quick is just a little guy, and he's not, but he is in terms of like goaltenders. I think eventually the pendulum will swing back to the like you're 6'2" and that's okay. But
oh, you think so? I mean,
everything has to like. Goalies eventually can't get much bigger. Like, shout out to basketball fans. There's not going to be like a Zach Edey of goaltending. Like,
that's a good reference.
There's no Zdeno Chara coming in goal. I hope not. That'd be weird. Like,
that is a quality reference.
Right, you're welcome. Look, I can only refer to other sports very rarely, so when I can do it, like, it makes me feel smart. No, I mean, I think that trend has been that way for a while, of the bigger the better. And when you look at the goaltenders who have been most successful, like recently,
Vasilevsky,
you know, and I think he's a pretty large boy. Yeah, I mean, I think eventually you get to like the diminishing returns of, yeah, like 6'6", 6'7", like, also that's hard on your body, like, you know. I'd love to see some sort of like kinesiologist, sports scientist person like look at someday, do bigger goalies have different health issues? Like, do they have bigger hip problems? Like, whatever.
Ooh.
That's a whole other podcast for like the summer break or something. But like, does your size influence the types of injuries that you might deal with as a goaltender?
That is a very interesting topic. I mean, I do want to come back to that during the summer, because that's something I haven't honestly thought about. When I think about big versus small, I think more about the movement, as you mentioned. Mm-hmm. How do they look on their lateral movement? I hadn't thought about injuries.
Yeah, or like what is the difference on your knees? You know, these guys blow their knees out all the time. If you have a much longer distance to go to drop into butterfly, like, what is that doing to your body? I don't know. Go find a like sports medicine person.
I would love to research that.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
You're welcome for your summer content.
Thank you for that. Oh, that's
cut of the revenue or something for the idea.
Just to have a little bit more fun before you head off.
Uh-oh. Yes. No.
Just for fun, I love your bingo card. Like, there's some really fun ones on here.
Yes.
I love that you said that Coachella Valley picks a goal horn because reasons.
They didn't have one.
I know that.
I know you know that. I don't know that other people know that. For a little while, they were just messing around till they picked one.
Oh, that was the other one, just to talk about for like a few seconds. You said Royce Summer doesn't get fired.
Yes.
On that one.
Yes.
We got 12 games left.
Right.
You think he sticks? I mean, at this point, he's probably going to stick around.
Right. There's no point in firing. Like, and because like this is the last year of his contract, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I mean, the real question is, do they re-sign him or not?
No, I don't think they.
You know, but like, there's no point in firing him. But teams have done stupider stuff. You know.
You're so right. I mean,
I feel like it's hard to get fired as an AHL coach. You don't see it that often. Usually it's like you got promoted in the middle of the season, but I feel like the end of the season will just be a like, we have decided to part ways.
Yeah.
Which isn't really getting fired, it's just not getting your contract renewed.
We have seen it in the AHL in the recent past. I forget who was the last coach that was fired mid-season.
Troy Mann. It just happened.
Oh, that's right, Troy Mann. During your recording.
Yes, but like before him, it's been I believe it's been a long time since one was like straight up fired and not just moved around somewhere else.
Good catch on that. I forgot about that. Well,
what I'm here for.
Yeah, so I love that bingo card. I think Roy Summer does stick around, but you know, he's upper 60s. He's probably not going to coach after this season. He might go back to semi-retirement at this point. But there's a lot of good coaches out there. Maybe Troy Mann can coach. Well, I take back what I was about to say. Maybe not.
He might need a little time out for,
Yeah, a little
behavior.
bit. Take a 20 on that one. Well, what other, like, there's some good ones here. Like Anton Khudobin gets back to the NHL. That is probably
I
going to happen.
win.
You
I mean,
win.
he's backing up. He hasn't played yet, but he's been called up as a backup.
The All-Star game did happen, so you were
It
right
did.
on
It
that.
did. It did.
It did. I hope this does not happen. Calgary wins the Western Conference. Please do not let that happen, for obvious reasons. And you did say the weather for the outdoor game is terrible. In a sense, you're kind of right on that one.
Yeah, I was wrong. It was terrible in the wrong direction. I was thinking like unexpected blizzard. Instead, it was too warm.
Yeah, and Kochetkov never comes back to the AHL. I love Kochetkov.
Yeah, I mean, I was wrong. He did come back, but
Yeah, but that one's just so fun. But
my favorite was Matt Murray. Texas gets traded to Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw Texas.
It didn't happen, but also the other really good one on there is the Marlies lose to a Zamboni or an e-bug. Sean's bingo card has the Marlies win a game against or with an e-bug or something. So I did the flip side of it. But no, I really wanted Matt Murray, no, not that one, to get traded to Toronto so that the Toronto organization had both Matts Murray.
It was weird doing my little preparations for Fibers games, and I usually write like the number of goals before the game. It was weird writing a number 1 next to Jesper Wallstedt's.
Yep.
Like, he's got a goalie goal.
He does. I saw it with my own eyes.
You've seen a goalie goal before I have. Ah, man. Good. Awesome for you. Well, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate having you on just to have a little bit of fun. And the Gulls fans love you, by the way. Like, you've met some of the Gulls fans.
I have. You're all wonderful people. Congratulations on your 4-game winning streak. Go mess up like Colorado's playoff chances or something.
Yes, please do. Hey, you know what?
Spoiler for other teams.
San Diego plays Iowa this weekend.
Yeah, go.
How would you like to see the Wolves in the playoffs and not Iowa?
I mean, feels unlikely. Iowa went on a winning streak lately. But I'm always for other teams beating Iowa. Even independent of the Wolves. I just like it when Iowa loses.
And we could see Rocco Grimaldi. Oh, we didn't get to that, but
you will see Rocco Grimaldi in the playoffs.
Yeah, I will say the Gulls did him right by giving him that shot.
Yeah.
It had to be done.
Yep.
Well, where can the fine folks find your work? Where can they find you on the socials and all that jazz?
You can find me on Twitter at Right Said Sarah. It's down there. If you're looking at the YouTube, it's WRITE Said Sarah with an H. I'm on Twitter talking about sports stuff. You can see me talking about the Wolves over on Canes Country. Full Press Hockey talking about the rain and stuff. The Calder Farmstead is available wherever you get your podcasts. So just go type it into your podcast search bar. It's also on YouTube. And if for some reason you ever feel like making fun of the Los Angeles Kings, Jules from the Crown is coming back. It is the soon-to-be former SB Nation Los Angeles Kings site. We are going to be relaunching in our own independent venture in April ahead of the playoffs. So you can come and be nice to me because I've been nice to you.
First article should be whoever winds up winning Bark Madness.
Yes.
Because the winner will be first week of April. So
yeah, no, the Kings should not acquire any players who do not have dogs. It should be a rule.
Absolutely.
If they do come to the Kings, they have to get a dog.
Agree 1,000%. That goes for any hockey team, by the way.
Yes, get a dog.
Get a dog. Get a team dog.
Yes.
Yeah. Be like Coach Stuthers. Bring your dog to the rink. Sarah, thank you.
You're welcome. I had a Trevor Zegras joke, but I'm not going to do it. But just imagine it. You're welcome.
Welcome back to Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Once again, I'm your host, Jason JD Hernandez. And this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. We're excited to have FanDuel as our sportsbook partner. And hey, March Madness time is here. So if you want to place a bet on March Madness right now, head over to fanduel.com/locked on. So yeah, check out FanDuel once again, the official sports betting partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. And please gamble responsibly, folks. All right, just want to get that quick one in. So the last segment ran long. So on the audio side, that last segment turned into 2 segments. And we're going to keep this one rather short because we went way over time. So I'm just going to talk about the last couple of games in general, which, led to 4 consecutive victories. I still can't believe they've won 4 in a row. The second to last game, a shutout for Gage Alexander. Dude was on a tear. He made a couple of highlight reel saves that I posted on the Locked On Ducks Twitter account. Got to check those out. And also props to Chase Prisky for getting another power play goal in there. Good for him. But I really want to talk about the game last Saturday against the Henderson Silver Knights. And don't look now. The Gulls are catching up to Henderson pretty quickly. I want to talk about that game because there was a lot of crap going on towards the end of the game. And I know that's what the fans kind of want to talk about is the little bit of the fights with Michael Del Zotto, Jamel Smith, Pavel Regenda, Braden Pahal, Caden Korjak. There was just a lot of stupid stuff happening towards the end of that game. But I will give credit to the Gulls for trying to at least have some sense of keeping control and not letting things get too far out of hand. And as a result, they wound up on the power play by, keeping cool. And that is the difference with having someone like Chase DeLeo around again, is you have that sense of you can't just be upset. You can't get pissed off at the opponents because they started no, hit them where it hurts on the scoreboard. That was the definition of a hit 'em where it hurts, look at the scoreboard kind of game. That's what this was. So I'm just proud of the Gulls for sticking with the game plan and getting the big win. And also Chase Prisky looks good on this one. But also, I got to give credits to Chase DeLeo for just leading the way with those 2 apples. And most of all, Gage Alexander, once again. We talked about this on the first segment about how someone with that big a frame, how he would, fare as far as, moving post to post. He moves post to post fine. I did mention the weakness. It did come to light in this particular game. But that's going to happen when you have a very long wingspan. Like almost a 7-foot wingspan. My God, that is long. And the fact that he's doing really well, he's flourishing right now. In, I want to say 8 games, he's 5-2-1. And I believe he has won his last 4 games, which are, incidentally, the last 4 San Diego wins. So this is another topic for another day. And I think I want to have John Broadbent on the show when I talk about this. But has Ole Eriksson Ek been kind of screwed over here? I don't know if I would say that, but I think he's lost his job. Ole Eriksson Ek was supposed to be the main starter after Dostal. And just to put this out there, we're not going to see Dostal back in San Diego for the rest of the season. And frankly, I don't think we see Dostal down in San Diego ever again unless the Ducks make some kind of big move for another goaltender and keep John Gibson. But I personally think Dostal's ready for the big show. And I think Gage Alexander might be ready for the big show in San Diego. I did mention before that Alexander and Dostal are kind of coming up in the same vein. A young goaltender getting hot at the right time and really showing what he's made of. He's got a .927 save percentage, a goals against of only 2.25. He's looked fantastic recently. I've really enjoyed watching him play the last 4 games, and I actually had to take the time to watch how he works and how much of a calming presence he is around the net. he doesn't have to rely on athleticism too much because he has that big body. Has he made a couple of insane saves? Yes. Has he had a goalie adventure? He's had a couple the last 4 games. That's what gets on Twitter, at least, is those goalie adventures. Woo, for what it's worth. But that's not his game. He's a very sound goaltender and someone that I would be thrilled to see in San Diego for years to come. I could see it. I could really see it. And I got to give props once again to Sean O'Brien. Has a really awesome tableau that he puts out there. And okay, so there's 3 goalies on there for San Diego. Ole Eriksson Ek is all the way down in the bottom left still. That has not changed. Then you have Lukas Dostal, who's all the way in the left but towards the top. He's listed as a starter. And then I look, and on the top left, where it says hard work, good results, therein lies Gage Alexander, 455 minutes, goals saved above average per 60 minutes at a .728 clip. His percentile rank, as of this recording, as of right now, 100%. The percentile rank is 100%, meaning he, as far as the metrics go, he's a top AHL goaltender. I know it is a small sample size. I realize it's a small sample size. But if you're a Gulls fan, you have got to look forward to next season, because if he's playing this well right now and he has this hot of a start, and if he continues to improve, I'm going to say this again. He's 20. He's 20 years old, folks. He's only going to get better. So I look forward to seeing him next season. In fact, I sincerely look forward to watching him on Sunday. Now, what is Sunday, you ask? Well, I make this no secret. I'm the public address announcer for the Coachella Valley Firebirds. And looking at the upcoming schedule, the Gulls have exactly two games this weekend. Saturday, they face the Iowa Wild. By the way, Iowa is playing Coachella Valley Friday night. Then they travel down to San Diego on the back end of a back-to-back. So San Diego could very easily win that game against a tired Iowa squad. That's Saturday night at Pechanga Arena. And then Coachella Valley hosts the San Diego Gulls on Sunday, which is also Dog Day, by the way. I know this is the last time that Coachella Valley and San Diego are going to meet this season. This is the last time that Gulls fans get to come up to Coachella this season. Last time y'all went up and greeted me so warmly, a few of you Gulls fans, actually came up to me after the game and congratulated me, which still means the world to me, by the way. And I really hope to see a ton of Gulls fans there, if for no other reason than just for the awesome support that you guys have had for me throughout the years. So really hope to see you guys out there. All right, that's going to do it for this podcast. Once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget this podcast is free and available across all platforms, including Stitcher, Spotify, Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc. My personal Twitter's at SnippyJD. The show's Twitter's at LO_Ducks. You can email me at lockedonanaheimducks@gmail.com. And once again, thank you all for your continuous support. It is so greatly appreciated, and I hope to see you at Coachella this weekend. For Locked On Gulls, I'm Jason JD Hernandez, saying have a great rest of the day. Please continue to be safe out there, be kind to one another, and Ducks and Gulls fly together.